Welcome to the Red Bull Ring for round 5 of the 2023 Academy Series for GPVWC. The Red Bull Ring is absolutely awesome as a circuit. It's a fast, short circuit. You see, in NASCAR, we have the short track races and they always provide entertainment. This is Motorsport and Europe's version of NASCAR short track. 10 corners in total as well. And everyone's going to get their teeth out. Track temperature is at track temperature now 37.3 degrees, air temperature 10.9. Weather's fair, and it's providing some interesting times. 1:27.021 by Alessandro Maggio as well is the fastest time in the top 10 so far since the lobby's been open. We're into qualifying now, which is a 15-minute sprint away as well. It should be quite fun to see. Ed Hunter will be joining me in the commentary box shortly as well. He's making his way back as well from prior engagements. We're here for the Race 1 and Race 2 format coming up. As we look at Suto now out the track on a build-up here. He's coming into the Burch curve as well and jumping over the hill. Turn 9 and 10 here called Rint and then Red Bull Mobile. Everyone says to me, "Isn't it sure it's on Red Bull Mobile?" No, I've had it categorically said to me by a former Red Bull employee. The last corner here is pronounced Mobile. So I'll stick with that. Suto made a mistake as well coming out of that corner, so it's already affected his banker lap time. Here's Alessandro Maggio as well, goes at the moment P1 after what we saw last time in the practice session just before we came on air. Bradley Sellers was P2, as you can see on the board, being selected in as well. But look out for Latinen as well. Did a 1:27.221 is so far the hot top 10 on this server. And how can you tell we've got race for you back this weekend as well? Hadjek then up towards turn 1 on his build lap. Nicely done into the Niki Lauda curve. Little bit of a wheel over on the rumble strip. Now downhill. Of course, MotoGP has now got a chicane at this part of the track after the horrible accident as well a couple of years ago. Franco Morbidelli was involved in that as well. The bike flipping over and going just past Valentino Rossi's head. This is turn 3, then at Remus, and then you go down to turn 4. The Sochless Gold corner. People incorrectly call it the Bosch curve. The Bosch curve was at this part of the track, but was modified some years ago now. This is Sochless Gold into the braking zone. Tight downhill braking zone into a right-hander. Control the wheel spin. This is Pirelli coming through at 6 as well. Named long before Pirelli was even back in Formula 1 as a title supply in the sport. Now this is the Burch curve we were talking about as well. Too quick left and rights as well. Make a mistake here and we've seen how costly it can be, especially in a Formula 3 car. That's where we saw a couple of years ago cars going up and over as well in a cloud of dust. This is Rint Curve, named after the 1970 posthumous Formula 1 world champion Jochen Rindt, who was killed at the Italian Grand Prix practice session. Red Bull Mobile, the last corner, cross the line then. First time for comparison, it's a 1:28.221. Heigo is on McNaughton second, and Lucas goes into third. Suto fourth, Harvig in 6th, Pinder goes top. Wow, 1:27.936. The time's coming down. He's 2.5 tenths faster than Heigo at the moment. McNaughton into the couple of corners now as well. This is Maggio as well coming up to the line. And Alessandro do something better. Fastest in the middle, centre, goes top by an astounding 4 tenths of a second. 1:27.532 on the board. Now we look at Bradley Sellers. He was second in the practice session and he's fastest as well in the first sector. He's up by 0.271, but he's lost that time in the middle sector. He's down by 2 tenths of a second. So watch out for Bradley Sellers not to be as fast as we once thought he might be. Into Rint curve at turn 9. Downhill with the pit entrance as well. Won't need to worry about pit lanes hopefully in the race later. As a little bit of a mistake coming to Red Bull Mobile. Got on the rumble strips in the exit of the curve. Bradley Sellers across the line then. Does he improve? Only to second. With a 1:27.532 was the target time. He himself provided a 1:27.889, 0.357 down on the over best time. So Maggio with the fastest time as well at the moment. Here's Dominic Pinder as well coming up as well, third at the moment. And downhill towards Socialist Gold. Best part of the track for me. My favourite corner on the entire Formula 1 calendar right here, turn 4. Such a challenge because you can carry so much speed into the braking zone, and if you make one mistake, you're off into the gravel trap with no chance of return. Ask Alexander Albon, ask Valtteri Bottas as well. They've all had excursions there over the years. And of course, I remember back in 2002 when there was a few more bits of drama there with Jacques Villeneuve. His engine, the BAR Honda, blew up at the end of the race there as well, and had to jump out over the barrier, and then he tripped over and nearly broke his ankle. He sprained it, but just fell over and he toppled over just ever so slightly as well. Of course, 2002 was the end, of course, of the Ferrari switchover, the famous let Michael pass for the championship method. They repeated it from their 2001 exploits. As Pinder crosses the line then, 1:30 was his time. That was a build-up as Joshua Dexter now in the 10 car comes into turn 9. Good first sector. He is down though by 0.189, lost a lot of time in the middle sector. Now he's 7/10 back, but considering that it's a 1:26.692 for Maggio as well, who is 1.1 seconds faster across the line. Dexter's actually stopped on the track and returned to the pit lane as well. So I hope that was an image glitch for us and he came into the pit lane, because otherwise it's a bit of a worry that he stopped on the circuit. Jeffrey Ellis then as well, 22nd at the moment as Scarpelli comes up into 10th. Now Petras goes 10th, Suter to 11th, Scarpelli down to 12th. Look at that though for Maggio, 1:26.692, leading McNaughton by 1.111 on the board. So just rubbing it in is Maggio to McNaughton, who is number 1 again. Look at your time and see the difference. Ellis then up towards the board as well, 1:25.6.7 as he comes across the line to 1:28.3, puts him up into 8th position ahead of Zanini and Gio Gallis as well in 10th position. Here's McNaughton then, first sector time as well was down, and here is Gio Gallis as we come through the same part of the sector. Remember, qualifying here is in separate servers, so in case you're just wondering why we glitched the 2 cars from the same part of the track. The drivers for qualifying race individually for their lap time, so they can do as many as they can in the race server that we're all put together again as well. We had that back in Malaysia last time out 2.5 weeks ago, I believe, coming through as well. Now, can Gio Gallis find the time to close up? Maggio's impressive run here with 1 second ahead is unbelievable at the moment. Fastest time so far of the day belongs to him. His previous best was a 1:27.021. He's gone 4/10 better than that. Gio Gallis can't improve on his time and stays in 10th position. Here's McNaughton, he's second at the moment, uphill towards turn 3, and Greach goes up into second, and he's brought the gap down now to 1.021. So Greach into second, so Terence Greach doing an amazingly good job there, but no one's stopping as well. Maggio at the moment, who's top once again. Here is Mark McNaughton then, down to turn number 4, Socialist Gold, as Hadjek up to 7th, Yosoro goes up into 8th position as well. McNaughton just controlling the nice slides then coming at the back half of the circuit. And first sector time for him, if I take a look at the timing screen, it hasn't actually shown up. So it hasn't shown up on the TV data, it hasn't shown up on our monitors up here in the commentary box as well in terms of sector time. So we'll keep with that. But Greach has just done a 22.9 in the first sector. Compare that to Maggio, who's done a 22.7. So there's 3/10 already there. Don't know who's going to win the 2 races here, but don't forget, reverse grid for the second race as well will provide some entertainment. Here's Lattinen then, out of the last corner, 5th at the moment, 9/10 down at the moment, and improves up actually to 2nd position. Lattinen does a great job and breaks that second, so does Yusuro, who's gone to 3rd position. So Maggio is now having to leave the pit lane to try and have another attempt to get some time on the board, because they're all starting to catch up. Lattinen then with a 1:27.337, Yusuro with a 1:27.641 as well. Greach up into 3rd place now, 1:27.521. So Greach moves up. Dexter goes into 8th as well. Hadjek goes 9th, and here's Hadjek as well into the last corner in 9th position, drifting it wide. He's keeping it together. 2/10 down first sector, 3/10 down second sector, 8/10 down with that slide in the 3rd sector. Doesn't improve. Dominic Pinder then into turn 4. First sector is 0.4 down on the board. as they flick the car in. At the exit here, a little bit of a rumble strip excursion as well with the green fake grass, the runoff area as well. It's more like a carpet that gets bolted down to the side of the track as well. It's incredibly slippery stuff as well. Mostly you see at circuits as well now, they've been replaced by just green painted runoffs, but there are certain sections of the track here at the Red Bull Ring which still require it, although since it returned to MotoGP, they've had to undergo their safety, which don't allow the grass. We can just see it there on the inside of the corner at turn 9 as well. On this version of the track, it's still there, so it provides some slipperiness even in the esport world as well. Pinder to the line, does he go any faster? Proves on time, goes to 5th place, 127.701 as well. Here is Maggio then on another flyer. He's been dominating so far qualifying as Lattinen goes into the pit lane. Bell goes into 6th position as well. And Lattinen to 3rd, and now Dexter to 4th. So we have 5 cars now, all within a second of each other. Pinder is 9 thousandths of a second off of that pace time as well. Bell is 37 thousandths off that time. But this is into turn 4. Sockless gold for Maggio as well. Can he find the pace coming through and towards Pirelli? He's still shifting up the gears into 5th. Now, look at that, over 200 on the register there at the board as he drops down to 4th, controls the slides as well at the exit, into the Burch curve now, flicks the car in, keeps on the accelerator ever so slightly. You can see the revs building, you can see the mile per hour kilometre there in the centre, closing up as well, and we're reading this in kilometres an hour, remember? So it's more than you think than miles per hour. Through it goes into turn 9, holding that exit drift perfectly. You can see the car understeering wide. He's controlled it nicely. Is this an improvement on the time? Don't think we're going to see it. No. And now he starts another lap time up towards turn number 1 again. So Maggio continuing to hold as much as he can as Magnussen goes up into 4th position as well with a good time as a 1:27.558. Domenico Scarpelli as well. And now in towards turn 4. First sector is down by 0.533 of a second. And hopefully he might be able to find some time coming in the second sector. At the moment, though, with that time gap, he is destined for the front row of the grid. Second sector, though, puts him 1.345 down, which would put him up into 10th position, ahead of Heigo as well, if he can keep that time. So at the moment, a top 10 is the likelihood for Scarpelli if he can hold it together into the last 2 corners through Rint. Turn 10, Red Bull Mobile, then gets on the power early. Look at that, jumps up as Yusuo goes into 6th position. Scarpelli, can he improve on the board? Answer, no. Stays 15th overall. And here is Lattinen then with exactly the first sector time. A 22.790 is exactly the same first sector as Maggio has said himself. They have matched each other to the nearest thousandth of a second. So this is a really good run now as well for the number 10. And we haven't seen the second sector delta point there. Hasn't flashed up on the monitor just yet. So unless he's backed out of the lap, 14, 15, no, he can still get to the line before the 1:26.692 cutoff. Time's on his side, though, as he comes out the last corner. Is this going to be at exactly the same time? It's shaping out to be quite good. It's a no idea, because the clock's backed out a bit, so he must have invalidated something to not get it, because he was up as well, but then he's lost out on it. Bradley Sellers then, in the number 6 car, running in P10 at the moment, 1.197 off the pace. He is 66 thousandths down at the moment, so Emperor Palpatine's calling him up for a little bit of an assistance here in the Austrian hills as they come down as well. Second sector as well, down now by 0.3 of a second, 0.389. So has to adjust his time as well coming into it. But all is well at the moment as they continue to focus, continue to push into the last 2 then as well. Get ready to boot it hard. Is it a fast time? Is it a faster than we need to see? He's 10th at the moment. 0.389 the difference. Moves up into third position with a 1:27.333. And look at that, 5 thousandths of a second. A piece separate Breach, Sellers, and Lattinen. Look at that, 0.635 for Breach. Sellers, 0.640. Lattinen, 0.645. Beautiful poetry in motion. Here is Lattinen then in fourth position. He's up as well. Down to the first sector, down to the second, but might be an improvement here for front row with the grid. Lattinen approaching the line, 125, 126, goes into second position with a 1:27.280. 0.588 off the pace of Maggio. McNaughton starts a lap time. The checkered flag is out. Breach will be the first one to meet it as well. Where does he come in qualifying? He's third at the moment. Had a poor middle sector. Stays in third position. And off. McNaughton backs out of a lap time. He's not going to do any more. What about Dominic Pinden then as well? 8th at the moment. We saw Dexter still on the lap time as well. Few green sector times coming up on the board as Petras moves up into 12th position. Zanini down to 13th. But I think Maggio's got the run there for a pole position as well. Bradley Sellers might try and spoil the front row for Lattinen as he goes very wide at the exit of turn 10. Can't do anything there, backs out of the time. It's Maggio, Lattinen, Breach, Sellers, McNaughton as well. Scarpelli stopped to the track. Luca Deas, 19th, goes up into 16th place, 2.3 seconds off the pace though. Louis Smith then coming into the last two corners. Are we going to see anything come here across the board? Oh, he's a bit wide coming on the last corner. He's on the rumble strips. Might still improve slightly up the order for 21st. Crosses the line. No, he doesn't. Stays where he is. Across the control line and back to the pit lane. Oh, and Lijon has flown out of turn 9 and has gone sideways and trying to take a drifting line through turn 10 that Antonio Giovinazzi didn't find appropriate back in 2020 at the Styrian Grand Prix event as well in wet conditions. So, I think the checkered flag has rescinded for everybody. And that is the end of qualifying. And these are the results then. Then the starting grid for race 1 shows us with Maggio on pole position by 0.588. So Latin in second, Breach is third, Sellers is fourth, McNaughton fifth, Dexter gets up into 6th position, Hijack is in 7th, Usoro is in 8th, Pinder 9th, and Mike Bell rounds out the top 10 positions. Looking further down, Jeffrey Ellis in impressive 11th position. Petras goes 12th. Suto 13th. Zanini 14th. Gio Gallis in 15th. Luca Deas 16th. Scarpelli 17th. And then we see Pavatosis as well 17th. Korula in 18th. Harvey dropped down to 19th in the end on that board as well. Louis Smith 20th. McMillan is in 21st. And Lijon spinning out of turn 9 goes into 22nd place. Well, alongside me in the commentary box now, ahead of the warm-up and the race session is Edward Hunter. Hello, Ed. A fascinating qualifying ahead. A fascinating qualifying we just had. Fascinating race 1 ahead. Hello.
Oh, I thought for a second there I was going to get to commentate on qualifying. But anyway, nicely done, Josh. I was just eating dinner and watching on my phone. And obviously you were shouting away, commentating on a very exciting qualifying session. Great to see Alessandro Maggio, Magic Man Maggio, as I call him, once again delivering the goods. And he was really good in Formula Sprint 2 when he got his little call up in the Academy car there, him and Bradley Sellers, I think. But Maggio finished 11th in race 1, and then in race 2 at Baku actually started, I think, 2nd or 3rd, no, 4th. He started 4th, got into the lead past David Yunt right near the end, and was able to win race 2. So that was very, very impressive, and it shows really just his pace here. It does translate to the other GPVWC series as well. Anyway, what was the anecdote I was saying? Yeah, I was in the kitchen, I was waiting for dinner and watching your commentary, and Mum comes in and it's like, what on earth are you watching? Just hearing you shouting away. And I was like, oh, I'll tell Josh you said that. And this is me doing that. Right, so
good evening, it's Mum. Hello. I'm sorry I was creating a disturbance over dinner.
Mrs. Hunter was very disappointed. Anyway. No, don't worry. It was my fault. It's not really anyone's fault.
Well, I suppose usually when we commentate, you're wearing headphones, so.
I'm right now, yeah, but I just just got back from Beaver Scouts, so although we had a very lovely session with lots of Lego, we're building lots of stuff out of Lego, and in fact using old bits of Lego. In fact, one of the other leaders got all these Lego from the 1980s, and I noticed a few rare bits in there I'd always wanted and never seen, so I thought I'd nick them, and I asked after I nicked them, and they said, yeah.
I was about to say, did you steal them?
But some of them, we were doing one activity, which was, I think we were trying to build, basically, we got a rope tied to a chair, and I was holding it at the other end, and the idea is basically you have to build a chairlift that can get to the other end without falling apart, and there were some quite spectacular attempts. It was quite funny, some of them deliberately building them to fall apart, I think, by just making them really loose, badly connected at the bottom, so they would just deliberately, when they get to the bottom, they would just shatter into different bits of plastic. But anyway, back to the matter at hand, qualifying. So Maggio Latinen had a pretty good go at catching. Got within about half a second, didn't he, in the end? So
5.3.6, if I remember saying correctly. So he's getting quite
there is a little bit of a meme going in chat, I think, which is Yasser Latinen supremacy, I think. But you never know. If he gets a good start, he could probably cause some really big issues for Maggio. But I think race 1. It's hard to see him being beaten, isn't it? But race 2, as we saw, it's only FS2 where he was able to sort of flip it around. He had a messy race 1 and then benefited as a result, and then won race 2. So yeah, it's interesting how these things work out. I wonder if one of these days we are going to see Maggio finally just swarm through the pack. I think Spielberg might be a good, Red Bull Ring might be a good circuit to do, because lots of straights, lots of corners that Maggio is absolutely superb at. These sorts of fast corners as well, where you've really got. You saw it in qualifying where he was shifting down to from 5th to 4th at exactly the right point for, I think, turn 5 or 6. You know, those two left-handers.
Yes. 5 and 6, the Burch curve areas. Yeah. I was just looking through the chat as well, and the Academy chat, because it was warm, it's a very scary place to be, isn't it? As well, and I've just seen one of the memes that come to Alex Lee Hux as well. He's put in, was scared, thought I had COVID for a second. God is good though, and it's COVID-19 test negative, but positive for HIV, chlamydia, hepatitis, all that one as well. So I thought that was absolutely fantastically funny. So
somebody said, I said in the chat, Maggio's on a high after his victory in the FS2 reverse grid. And somebody said, Maggio is high, is he on drugs? Well, I did call him Magic Man Maggio, didn't I? It's maybe Magic Mushroom Maggio.
Yes, I was listening. Well, it's not the Super Mario Brothers movie that we need to be worried about eating mushrooms, is it? But still, that's going to be...
I saw a great comment about that movie, sort of like, Mario and Luigi at their parents' house. They need to. There should be a level in the game, like get through dinner at Mario's parents' house, because they're like brutal to walk apparently in that movie.
I'd much rather.
Like he owns his own business, owns his own place. It's not good enough for that.
Yeah. Parents.
Anyways, another driver that's really impressed me is this man here, Mark McNaughton. I remember back in Imola, he started right at the back of the grid and climbed through the field of like 28, 30 cars, got to 11th in the end, I think. So that was a great performance there. And Imola is a pretty tough circuit to overtake, as we saw when the two leaders crashed out in race 2, Maggio and Yusuf Bin Sael. And Bobby Vakinov took another race 2 victory. But of course, with Vakinov moving on to better things, it really opens up a new race 2. I forget, was it Mike Bell that won race 2 for the first time? Sorry, in Sepang.
Yeah, in Sepang, yeah, Malaysia.
It was, yeah. And that was really great to see, because Mike Bell is one of those guys who always battling through the field, always top 4, top 5, always able to get good results and pull out these spectacular overtakes. It was great to see him finally get a win, because I think he said something like it was his first win in like 5 or 6 years or something. Yeah, 10 years, wow.
10 years,
wow.
Yeah.
Almost as long as I've been commentating then. Those early commentaries, Josh, they're not very good.
Oh, trust me, I got presented with one of my touring car races, because it's my 10 years now I've been commentating the British Touring Car Championship. And I got presented with my qualifying commentary from Brands Hatch 2013. And you can tell I'm A, young, and B, don't know what the hell I'm talking about. As I said Turkington as Tucking Tom.
Gotta be careful how you pronounce that.
Honestly, and considering that one of my friends at the time was a lady at my school as well, same age as me though, well, it was called Courtney Turkington. I should have really got this one.
Yeah.
But my brain,
when things are spelt the same, they usually pronounce the same.
Yes, my brain wasn't twigging though. But I honestly, as soon as I said it once and then corrected myself because it was on a tiny screen. I remember it was on an iPad.
No, that's very
screen,
true.
and I couldn't see it in those days. Nothing much has changed though when we make driver errors. I mean, big monitors don't make any difference, and tiny screens showing us everything that we need up here in the box. It doesn't change.
Yeah. I think my early commentaries were like Trackmania events, usually very small F1 Trackmania leagues that I competed in as well. So I would talk about myself in the third person often in very flattering terms. But the camera work's actually not too bad in some of those because I always went into the replay editor and messed around with that, and then I'd sort of script all the bits of the commentary. There's some bits where I wouldn't have time to script or I wouldn't know what to say, as we see Joshua Dexter, another Joshua. I'll have to,
more now.
Yeah, Joshua Hamilton, Joshua Dexter. How many Joshuas are there in sim racing that we've commented on? But anyway, he went very wide at the penultimate corner there. And that's interesting because in qualifying I thought everyone was pretty good in terms of track limits and staying within them. The sort of thing that F1 race directors are very critical of it around here at Spielberg. So let's see if they start pushing them a bit more in the race and whether that starts affecting things. So we have seen people get penalties for corner cut. I think at Melbourne, I remember it happened. I think to Bradley still as well, he was leading, if I remember correctly, in race 2 there.
Yeah. There's a few lap times that got cancelled in qualifying though. We couldn't work out had they been cancelled, had they not, because they weren't showing up on the timing screen as quickly as it was. So that's why we saw Bradley Sellers, who was on a stellar lap, got the Dexter nearly flying on the back of one of the other cars coming into the braking zone there as well. Not nice.
Was that McNaughton? McNaughton's got the orange car, hasn't he?
No, McNaughton's in the pit lane, so it's the other one.
Probably not him then.
Academy Orange. Let me take a look on the time.
Frederick Lejon. Lejon?
Lejon. I've been saying Lejon.
Lejon, like Dijon.
Yes, yeah, that's what I've been going. I'm looking at my top camera, thinking you're there, but you're on the laptop today, so you're down there, Ed.
Well, I'm usually on the laptop. I could turn the camera on if you want, but it probably wouldn't do me any good in terms of. I tried that in Australia race 2.
Yes.
But there was for some reason I fell about 6 seconds behind, so I was always reacting late. Look at Dexter really in the rear, hang out at the final corner there, which is spectacular to watch, but not so good for your tyres or your lap time.
No, and Yusuro going.
Horacio, yes, Michelle Horacio.
Well, that is not the ideal line to take through turn 4. That's the Alexander Albon line that is reserved especially for
Well, I don't think he intended to do that, Albon.
Yeah.
But
Invite only by Lewis. Yeah, punches it in the gravel down there. Although, did Bottas go off the next year? I swear Bottas went off.
In qualifying, yes.
Yes,
and then Lewis got a penalty because he set his fastest lap during the yellow flags, just as they were sent out as he was passing through just behind.
Yeah, and guess who complained to the stewards about that? Oh yeah, it was Red Bull, wasn't it?
Well, it is the Red Bull ring, so yeah, they almost designed the circuit to catch Lewis out in those sorts of scenarios.
I'm really
Except they didn't design it because it used to be the
A1
ring, and it's been pretty much the same layout since then. I think maybe a few curbs in a few different places. Other than that, it's identical. So yeah.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. It's one of my favourite.
It's the old Österreich ring. Yeah. That was the much longer and more dangerous layout. I think of like Andrea De Cesaris just flipping over there, and it's a scare. Oh, look at that, Latinen, and Latinen getting a lovely love tap there from the bright green car. Who is that? Lime. It would be Zanini, I think. Remember Zanini who flipped over the bridge at Valencia?
Yes,
Davide, yes. So Davide getting his elbows out before the race. And it's good that he did that before warm-up ended, because it's always frustrating when you want to rub into the side of someone just to give him a little bit of a warning. I think Zanini is several places behind Latinen, though, on the grid, so it'll be hard for him to do that, at least until the reverse crew race.
This is going to be a lot of fun, though, this race as well.
Oh, it will. I imagine a lot of slipstreaming in sectors 1 and 2 is going to take place.
Can Maggio take the advantage? He was fastest in the practice. He's fastest in qualifying. Race 1, if he keeps his nose clean up front, he's going to only have to defend, really.
Well, it's about who makes the best start, really. A lot of comments in the chat about, like, we're looking for finish domination. And I think Alex Lahu or whoever Descartes, he says Italian domination. unfortunately, which I think is a bit harsh on Italians. I think they don't have any F1 drivers at the moment. I think they're allowed to have Maggio doing well in academy.
Isn't Bottas still in Formula 1?
Was Bottas Finnish? Oh, he is Finnish. Yeah, I was thinking of like Italians though, because since Giovinazzi left, I don't think there are any Italians in Formula 1.
Off the top of my head, hang on, let me have a look at my stats notes I've still got here in the commentary box from Australia. Thinking about it, I think you're right. Hang on a minute, Verstappen.
There might be an Italian test driver somewhere. I might even be Giovinazzi.
Giovinazzi is still in for Ferrari, isn't he? Yeah.
Believe so.
No Italians. No Italians on the grid. I think that's actually the only nationality that we don't have that has been in a big series. But yeah, into the race then, coming up. Just a quick thing as well, you saw the graphic there. Maggio was 24 thousandths of a second faster than Lattinen in that session. So Maggio's unbeaten run of being fastest in practice, fastest in qualifying, fastest now in warm-up. He's got pole position for race 1 as well. Can he take victory in race 1? And then the big question, can he do a fight back to take victory in race 2? Not that unheard of, as back
I think he would take a podium in race 2, because usually he's just about able to get in the top 5 or 6 in race 2, if he's lucky. Like Sepang was awful. I think he retired before the end of race 2, actually.
Yeah, really bad race 1, race 2.
It's almost the problem is I think there's also a target on his back as well come race 2, and I think they tend not to let him through. They tend to just barge into him and block his way, which tends to end up in collisions and accidents, and just Maggio getting a bit annoyed. But to be fair, he's been quite honest about, like in FS2 when he had that messy race 1, he was pretty honest saying, I just made a few mistakes basically, because he like spun I think at turn 3 or 4 at some point in the race, I think, while he was fighting for there was a big battle for top 8 in race 1 that he was in the middle of, and then race 2 was just absolutely insane and he was just ahead of most of it. But I did mention, by the way, Yusuf earlier while we're waiting, and Yusuf very kindly has offered me a job doing the go-karting commentary at Milton Keynes for Daytona go-karting, so I'm really looking forward to doing that on the Saturday and Sunday for D-Max and for the juniors, cadets, and all the rest of the categories.
Yes, and you're leaving me alone for Formula E, and also...
Oh, but I'm looking at the stars of the future, Josh. We've got to focus.
That is true, but you also ditch us for another endurance race as well, so...
Well, I don't know if I can, because I'll be in Milton Keynes.
Yes,
I don't know what the Wi-Fi's like at the Easy Hotel B&B that I've booked, but...
I thought you said Sleazy Hotel at the moment. I was like, what?
Easy Hotel. I assume it's EasyJet, and they've got a hotel. Anyway, I'll find out when I get there.
Yes, let us know if it is a sleazy motel.
Anyway, there we go. So, not confusing at all, loads of green and red cars. I guess it fits with the whole Italian theme that we were just talking about. At the very front, I think of the top 5 cars, we got red, green, red, orange. McNaughton is the sort of fly in the ointment, and then Dexter's green, and then Hadrick is purple, and then from then on it's all different colours. But yeah.
Away we go on the formation lap. So they'll all head up then on the circuit, and presumably we'll take a look at the starting grid now. And do you want
me to do it, Josh?
Yeah, go on, you go for it.
Okay, so Alessandro Maggio takes pole position again in his red academy car from Jesse Lattinen. Terence Grech is 3rd. From Bradley Sellers in 4th. Mark McNaughton starts, equals I think his best starting position in 5th, ahead of Joshua Dexter. Then in 7th place it's Jaroslav Hadjic. Michele Horacio starts 8th, ahead of Dominic Pinder. Mike Bell, winner last time out in Sepang, rounds out the top 10 with Jeffrey Ellis just behind him in his light blue car. Mike Bell's going for teal this time rather than green, just to add a bit of spice to the field, because usually everyone just goes for a green car. Marek Petra starts 12th. In the light blue car, ahead of Joseph Frederick Suto, who, of course, you and I know very well from EERC. Davide Zanini starts 14th, ahead of George J. Gallis. Byron Lucadellis starts 16th, ahead of Domenico Scarpelli. Georgios Pavitsos starts 18th, ahead of Jonas Carola. Then it's Caroline Harvick in 20th, Louis Smith 21st, Cole McMillan, a newcomer, in 22nd, ahead of fellow newcomer Frederick Lejeune.
So around they come then here at the Red Bull Ring. This fantastic circuit built as well back in the 1960s, modified then as well. From the Österreich Ring into the Red Bull Ring. Of course, it was then also known as the A1 Ring, a sponsorship local at the circuit. Go on then, give us a race predictor. Who's going to win it?
Maggio. It can't be anyone else but the Magic Man, surely. But it's going to be a massive fight for second, though, and I think Lattinen, if he gets a good start, could completely turn my prediction on its head. But I think Maggio, if he gets into the first corner first, he can manage the race from there, because he's just supremely confident at the moment. And when things are working well for him, they're working very well indeed.
Maggio's got the lead, of course, up towards turn 1. Red Bull Ring and red car at the front. Tail end coming in then with Frederic Lejean as well. Now in 23rd position. Well, it's a pretty standard thing of how we start the races. The International FIA appeal with the 5 red lights at the front of the field. You'll hear the beeps come on. What a time. In fact, look at that for Lejean, just back at the front massively.
Yeah, lights already on, Josh. Here we go. 3, 4, 5, and about to be released at Spielberg. And away we go.
Great start towards turn 1, Ed.
Indeed. And Maggio supremely clear into turn 1, but can Lattinen brake late and give a little bit of challenge? No, he's miles behind. Maggio has checked out. No, big crash behind. And that's somebody missing the rear wing.
Well,
and is that Mike Bell that spun there?
Mike McNaughton's going to miss his rear wing.
It is Mike Bell. Oh, dear.
Bell is involved too from his victory back in Sepang, and I won't be surprised will they consider stopping the race and restarting as Lattinen side by side now, coming up with Greach as well. Is going to try and go on the outside, does take second.
Yeah, great, actually, a hairpin there from Great. All that chaos behind, everyone was looking in their mirrors, and Lattinen may get slipstreamed again by Bradley Sellers here, Josh, into turn 4, that lovely corner that you know so well.
Into Suchless Gold then as well, and unfortunately Lattinen's going to be feeling very much out of Lattinum as well as he tries to come through defending into Pirelli at turns 6 and 7. I don't think Sellers going to make the move there, so Maggio's already pulled out a 1.5 second advantage, but look further down, the amount of people that got affected in that first corner crash is unbelievable, and it's unfortunately, I think, spelled the end of the race for Mark McNaughton as well. He was the car with no rear wing, it's going to take a long time for that to get repaired. It's only a short lap here at the Red Bull Ring. And look at Lattinen right in the back of Greach.
Oh, and both of them running really, really wide at the penultimate corner there. But Lattinen, does so well not hit the back of Greach, but Greach goes wide at the last corner. And surely Lattinen's going to retake second position. Side by side they go over the start-finish line, Josh.
Up towards turn 1, though, he's got the opportunity to fend, but if Greach is playing it really, really smart, he can just about push it away. No, doesn't do it. Oh, this is going to be very
just
close.
At his front wing, just make a little bit of contact with the sidewall of Lattinen's tyre. But now here comes Bradley Sellers then, trying to tank Greach, and the 3 of them all slipstream each other. But look at the gap that Maggio's got already.
McNillan's off down in turn number 1 as well, trying to go around the outside now is Greach, a little bit of contact, they just about get through. Greach goes up into second position, but now look at this, it's also bringing Hajek as well in 5th place, and he's on the back of Bradley Sellers now, trying to go around the outside, coming downhill in towards turn 4. Bold move if he can do it, as there's all sorts of drama in the midfield. He can't get through. Hajek stays 5th.
Yeah, it was McNaughton, Pinder and Harbig that lost their front and rear rings at the beginning, and there's Louis Smith in a little bit of trouble, having just to let the pack through. Scarpelli easily overcomes him. But yeah, Maggio, 4 seconds to the good at the end of lap 2 there, and this is a short lap as well, and that really shows you just how much of a high he's on at the moment, and it was such a brilliant start off the line. Once again, as we see Pavitsos defending that 14th position from Karula.
Yeah, and
Karulala.
Have you looked at the time screen, Ed? 1:35.11 was the opening lap for Maggio. The rest of the field were doing 1:33s, but that's only because we had Greach, Lattinen, and Bradley Sellers all involved with the battle each other on the opening lap. Now
they're still fighting each other. Greg is still holding off Lattinen at the moment. 1:27.5 just set by Alessandro Maggio. So Magic Man, he's continuing to make the magic happen as there. That looks like Norton exiting the pits there, just behind Hajek. And now Ellis and Zanini are going to have to deal with him, as surely he'll have to get out of the way here as he's a lap down now. Let's look at that, Greg being attacked by Lattinen again.
Oh, and looking at up the inside to turn number 3. Remus gets the cut back, so Lattinen is still going to be having the slipstream effect down towards turn 4. Look at that, Greach knows it, tries to cut off the toe, but Lattinen is going to stay there, stay within it every single second. It's like being on a fishing line and you're reeling in the catch in towards turn 4. Downhill braking's a little mistake there from Greach, keeps it under control. Lattinen is just putting the pressure on.
He is, and I think he knows that after his qualifying time was faster than Greg's, he knows that it's just going to take a little bit of a mistake and he'll be able to get through. But he's got to worry a little bit about Bradley Sellers, who's still within touching distance. Also impressive, Mike Bell, who we saw spun completely at the first corner there, has already got back up to 12th now and is challenging Petras, I think, a few seconds behind. And here comes Landon. He's going to get forced on the grass here.
That was brave. He tried to have a look on the outside line, and look, they both go wide. Bradley Sellers only 3/10 behind this little party, as well as they come in. That gap is closing. Maggio does a 1:27.2, and compared to these guys who are doing 1:29.9, it's just completely changing as they cross the line as well. Maggio, 5.6 seconds ahead already.
McNaughton's gone back into the pits as well, and LeJohn is there too. So real big issues there. So I wonder if there's a more serious issue there, or if actually just wants to get out of the traffic. As here comes Landon. Is he trying to pull to the outside here? Oh, it's going to be brave if he can make this one work at the hairpin.
Oh, and Bradley Sellers nearly clipping the rear of his car as well, because he was thinking about getting the cutback manoeuvre. Green stays second. Look at the time. Latin and Loss were taking the wrong line through turn 3 at Remus into turn 4 at Sancho's Gold. He has to go defensive. Bradley was going for the overtake at the same part of the track, and now they're both compromised with the exit.
Yeah, it was sort of he couldn't really go to the inside because that's where Greg was, so he sort of had to try around the outside, hope he could just put Greg off. And in the end, it sort of allowed Bradley Sellers to catch back up. And Hadjek, as you see, started to reel them back in as well. They were starting to pull away from him, and they might do so again. But we've still got 10 laps to go here. I think this battle for second could go like any of 4 ways here. I think for Dan Hadjek's, Jaroslav Hadjek, not Dan Hadjek, sorry. It's wrong Hadjek I'm thinking of, but Hadjek is probably hoping all 3 of them run into each other. Because that's the only way I think that he's going to get second here.
Yeah, McNaughton back in the pit lane again for the 3rd time as well, as Harvick's been in there for 3 minutes, and now we're going to see the move again from Latonen as Greench goes defensive into turn 1 as well, aggressive defending. Bradley Sellers is all out of shape and goes up in the rumble strip. That'll bring Hadjek back into it, because here comes Latonen round the outside. He wants to take Greench and Remus.
Yeah, but once again, he's on the outside, Josh, and it's sort of like the Nico Rosberg defense here from Terence Grech, isn't it?
Oh, it's like Montoya and Schumacher in 2001, isn't it?
Oh, we know how that ended, don't we?
Yeah, Montoya scraping around in the gravel trap, and they had a few ding-dongs that year, Schumacher and Montoya. It was a...
Oh!
Oh, my word! It's a spin in the middle, and Sellers avoids it, but Latonen goes for a 360 in towards Sonchless Gold.
Yeah, Landon went for the inside there at turn 4, and Grech, I think, almost reacted too late or didn't see it coming, and it ended with Landon spinning on the grass, and everyone did really well to avoid him there, really. Sellers, Hadjek, and Ellis are really on the ball there, but that's really costly for Latonen, and now he's giving himself a lot of work to do, only 9 laps to do it in.
Don't expect to see a spinning GPVWC car in the middle of the field, and that's exactly what happened, unfortunately.
But he's going to be furious there with Grech there, because he's going to feel he was forced off onto the grass there. And once the wheel was on, when you get in the braking zone, you're spinning around, basically, because the rear wheel has got no grip if it's braking on the grass.
Hadjek's got just got a wheel in the rumble strip there coming out turn 10, and now Jeffrey Ellis is going to come into play here.
Yeah, Ellis has woken up all of a sudden.
Oh, he's thinking about it. 9-1. No, 1 leaves you vulnerable for 3. It's a better exit you need out of the Niki Lauda curve and run up. Look at the better exit. Ellis has got you right. He's woken up and he's chosen violence as he approaches turn 3.
Well, let's hope not, but here we go. Hadjek is going to try and force him to the outside and hopefully not onto the grass. We've just seen how that ends. Oh, but thankfully there's runoff there, so Jeffrey Ellis is just going to try and break late around the outside and gets forced off once again and luckily gets back on track before the runoff runs out. But yeah, that was really a little bit of a tense moment there, and Hadjek, now he's inherited that 4th position, he's desperate to hold on to it.
And Ellis trying to go look around the outside as well. Latonen and Zanini were side by side at the top of the hill. That hasn't changed position now. In fact, Zanini's backed off a little bit, as you can see. Yellow out in the first sector. McNaughton's been in the pit lane now for 2 minutes and 37 seconds. 5 minutes 20 for Harvick as Ellis touches the back.
That's not accurate. He's still just the 2 laps down, I think, behind Harvick. So he's out on track at the moment. I can't say where, but here comes Ellis then. He's got a great run. Hadjek was really slow here through the turn 6 and 7.
Yeah, it's the graphics that have got the graphics there, so apologies for that. But look at that, Ellis attacking every which way. Hadjek's now just sort of backing everybody up. There's a train forming as...
look at them all cutting the inside there at the final corner. And here we go. Ellis has got a brilliant run here, and he sort of needs to get through because Lattinen is surely going to be up the inside if he's not careful. Here we go.
Whoa! Bang!
Oh!
Oh, well, that was... I mean, they're both donuts.
He was a bit too eager there, and now he's just decided to do a donut for us, and it looked like Hadrick's done the same thing, and it's taken him longer to recover there, so style points for Jeffrey Ellis, but he's lost positions in the race. And through comes Suto. Yeah, so Joseph Frederick Suto gets an absolute gift here, or at least one position anyway.
Lattinen's back up into fourth place, and he's now got to catch another 2 seconds as Suto dives up the inside of Ellis. Ellis goes
That was forceful from Suto there. Trying to force Jeffrey Ellis wide. All three of them going side by side behind. That's Petras, Lucadelis, and Bell fighting over 10th place.
And 3 wide here. It's the braking zone. That's going to end in tears. They just about shuffle it out. Suto's going to try and keep a wheel in. And now, look at that.
That was a kamikaze dive from Mike Bell there, and somehow he's made it through.
And it's still going on as well as Hadjek's now under pressure from Suto on the inside. Hadjek sent him round the outside of the Burch curve.
Beautiful move. Beautiful move from Jaroslav Hadjek there. And look, a lot of cooperation from Joseph Frederick Suto, though.
This is unbelievable racing. I can't believe this racing, Jack.
Yeah, meanwhile, Maggio leads Terence Grech by nearly 10 seconds now. He is absolutely well and truly checked out or booked a hotel for the next race already.
Where
Look,
is
there's no one else there. He's in his own race.
He's in Hungary. That's how far away he is as well. He's no longer in Austria. Zanini right in the back of Lattinum as well. He's going to get a good exit out of 1, and now he's going to trail up the hill. Little kink at the curve for count to turn 2 now because MotoGP deems it a corner.
Oh, and Lattinum's left the inside open. Just enough room for Davide Zanini to break late here into the hairpin.
Oh, that's going to be tight. They're going to make contact. Bang, bang.
And he just understeered into him there. It's like, no. So Lattinen, really, his defensive driving, I think he's left a few gaps in the armour, and if you leave chinks in the armour, your rivals are going to exploit them. But here we go. Is he going to get the run into turn 4, Josh?
Yeah, he's going to have a little bit of a lock-up. He's going to slip through. I saw that coming a million miles away.
Nearly slipped on the curb into Zanini there.
There's a bump at the entrance of that corner, and he hit it exactly as I predicted. I said he was going to hit him, and he just about avoided him by a cigarette paper. Look at that, Dexter's coming involved as well. He's just behind this by a second, actually, so he's closing in. Well, this race is just
to Sellers, though, in front of the both of them. So Bradley still is doing well to just about hold on to the back of Terence Grech. In fact, sets a purple sector 2, so he's not giving up on that second place. He's only two seconds down, but 5 laps remaining. But there's Mike Bell after that crazy dive up the inside into turn 4. I wonder if he'll get in trouble for that, because that felt a little bit like he was like, right, I got the inside. I'm just going to brake and hope that I make the corner. And he used the other car to Petras. I think he used Petras to sort of to slow himself down. As Lattinen, and spins! Oh, right through the DRS board he goes. And this has just turned into a messy race for Yassi Lattinen. Lattinen supremacy, more like a latitude, longitude, I'm afraid. He's not controlling either of them.
Brilliant. And you got a wheel on the
Mike Bell gets through as well in his Teal Academy car there. So yeah, it's just avoiding cars spinning in front of you. That's what this race is turning into. But Zanini has done a pretty stellar job, I think, in 4th, considering where he started in this race, just to avoid the chaos.
Don't need to say what happened to that, and everybody saw it. Wheel on the curb. So
now Hadjek is gearing up for round 2 against Jeffrey Ellis, isn't he? After being assaulted at turn 1.
I'm not saying what I just thought about in my head. Anyway, moving on. Hadjek coming in with the boxing gloves to take on Jeffrey Ellis as well for the 6th position battle. And how's the reverse grid looking at the moment? Because we've got it's the contention, isn't it?
Yeah, Pavitsos, I think, is about a second ahead of Karulala, whose name I'm eventually going to know how to pronounce.
So we're looking quite good there as well. I've been saying Karula as well, so I'm horribly sorry if I've been pronouncing it wrong. Blame the...
I'll call him Kurala. Jonas Kurala.
Let's go with that.
But anyway, look at that. That's Suto getting a bit wide at the final corner. But yeah, I think Hadjek and Ellis, the closest battle at the moment. Grech has fought back a little bit. He's kept the gap to about 9 seconds. So Maggio has decided to leave his tyres for the final few laps, I think. He's not quite sprinting away like he was before. But the damage is done, really. He just needs to keep it on the island, really. And we've seen others really struggle with that. Just pushing too hard to catch up. And
of course, no championship standings in Academy Series. We race for recognition and we race to get the attention of people who are higher up as well. And certainly, they always give us names to write down. In fact, we had Lee, of course, in the commentary box back in Sepang. And he was writing names down left, right, and centre for possible opportunities.
Oh, and Latinen's retired then, so that's desperately unlucky. I think something else must have happened, or he must have just got frustrated behind Mike Bell. But here's Karula trying to fight for that final point. The reverse grid position, 15th, is Pavitsos going to really fight this one? I think it's Georgios, of course. Very similar, but don't get confused. Is Karula going to dive up the inside? He's not going to attempt the Mike Bell move, is he?
We saw how that worked out as well earlier on in the race, and decides, nope, Scarpelli in 16th place actually is in a battle as well with Smith.
Of course, because Latinen's retired, so everyone moved up a place. So it's actually Scarpelli who's now challenging Karula gradually. But actually, Karula just needs to hold on where he is, and he's got reverse grip, and if he goes wide like that, he might end up in the gravel.
That's the thing. Do we want to sacrifice the reverse grid coming in? Is that the thing we want to do?
Oh, here comes Hadjek on Ellis into turn 1. Scene of the crime, Josh.
That's a bit that, and there's another crime. A little bit of a wheel contact, and that's going to annoy Hadjek like mad now that Ellis has done it twice. But now, Ellis in 6th goes to...
That felt a little bit more innocent to me, because I felt like Ellis sort of got the wheel spin and sort of tried to minimize the damage of the contact there, as it were. But yeah, I don't think Hadjek's going to be too impressed either way.
If you could take your hand off the esport wheel on the game and put it out of the cockpit, I think fingers would be up right now, and it wouldn't be suggesting how many seats do you want saving at the lunch table later. Down towards turn 4, can you have another run? No, he's too far back. Or maybe. No.
Yeah, you look at how Ellis is just being a little bit conservative in the braking zone. I wonder if maybe he's trying to keep his tyres alive for the final lap, where he's going to become a little bit of a factor towards the end, and that's why we see Maggio not quite rocketing away like he was before. But yeah, Jaroslav Hadjek, he wants revenge by taking the position, but I think he would prefer to get through cleanly. But if there's contact, so be it, I think, is the mindset here for that Purple Academy driver.
Yep, they're just going to race to see if...
I say purple because of the car and the helmet, not because of his face going purple from rage.
He's saving all the swears, isn't he? And he's trying to get a cut back and cut as much time as he possibly can, and it worked perfectly. Ed up towards T1.
But he didn't. The problem is it compromised his exit there. He sort of cut to the inside really early, and Ellis sort of got the exit wrong as well. So they sort of put stalemate for both of them essentially in this scenario. But only a few laps left. I think Jeff Ellis just needs to hold on, and he's got that 6th place. But Hadjek, he's got the motive to attack, doesn't he? He's got more than enough incentive to dive on up the inside if he gets half a chance.
He's trail breaking into 3 uphill. He got so close to the back as well. Can he get a good run down towards turn 4? No,
he's teasing him here. He's trying to just break as late as he can just to put him off a little bit, as it's all kicking off behind between Pavitsos and Kurala.
And he's got a penalty for it as well.
Place. Pavitsos.
Hadjek's locked up and nearly ran into the back of Ellis. It was not as dramatic as it was, so I'll throw it back to you.
Yeah, I think Pavitsos might have got a corner cutting penalty or something because he's fallen behind Karula. Oh, good save by Hadjek there. But that's going to cost him. I think the rear tyre's starting to overheat here.
Yeah, good night, really, for him, as now Mike Bell's in the back of Suter.
Well, there is another race to go, so I don't think it's good night just yet, Josh. But...
Right, it's nap time then, as well. Nap time. Miss the warm-up for race 2 and then go straight into it. I'm just glad they put the formation lap on this week, because we had a right palaver in Malaysia with that one, race 1.
Oh, I did notice that watching back afterwards, yeah.
We didn't know. We got literally the lights were coming on. I was going for it, and then all of a sudden we get told in the ears, "Oh, it's parade lap." Oh, hang on a minute, the lights have gone up. Everyone got confused up in the box because they forgot to put it on.
Yeah, Mike Bell. We haven't talked about him too much, but we have actually. But he's gone from the very back, being spun. Obviously, a few cars had to pit ahead because they didn't have any wings. But he's gone all the way up to 9th then, from near the very back of the field, and he may even get 8th here because Joseph Frederick Suto does not look very quick here, and he's got Mike Bell all over the back of his gearbox. Is he going to try around the outside? Brakes super late. Oh, look at that! And that's way too deep from Suto.
That's it.
And he just comes on, gives a little tap as he rejoins. But that was a little bit risky there.
They both locked.
You sort of knew Suto knew he was going to be passed, and he thought, right, I'm just going to brake late and make a fight out of this one in the braking zone. And Mike Bell's like, oh, thank you very much.
Don't fight with Mike Bell. I think we've all learned that from Malaysia. because he's got the grip.
Yeah, he'll brake really late at the inside and just hope for the best, or, he's got the line anyway, and there's nothing you can do.
So last lap then, as they're coming through. I hope we haven't missed the checkered flag moment, actually, because I'm not...
Yeah, Mike Bell also set the fastest first sector there on that lap as well, 22.8. So that really shows the amount he was gave, but only slightly slower than Maggio, though, who's still actually flying out there. He's clearly saved the tyres, got the gap over 10 seconds now.
Suto was drifting on the last corner. He literally threw it in and did Hail Marys and everything to try and get past. Can he get past Mike Bell, though? Up in towards turn number 1. No, he cannot. Right, Maggio's in the first sector, but look at Suto, really close now, and he's got a great exit on the run up towards turn 3.
Yeah, Joseph Ferrucci, we saw in ERC in Endurance, he does not like to go down without a fight. He likes to just defend until the very last lap, often of multiple 24-hour races. But here we go, he's stuck on the outside here. Mike Bell once again just controls the middle of the road. Suto spins the rear tyres up, and the time's starting to ebb away, but he's gone back in the slipstream now as they approach turn 4, Josh.
Yep, can he get a dive bomb maneuver? That's the question we want to see.
Oh, don't go on the grass, Joseph.
My word, he's going to go for it though with a dive bomb, and he heads them back. Unbelievable that they don't spin round. And here's Maggio to the line.
Here we go. A beautiful drive from Alessandro Maggio. The Magic Man wins race 1 again. That's 4 race 1 victories in a row. And Spielberg is his. As we see, Scarpelli just demoted down to 15th by Karulala on the final lap there. So there's Terence Grech. He holds off Bradley Sellers for second position.
And look at this cross line for Zanini as well. Impressive race for him. And look at that. That battle's changing in 14th and 15th as well. With Scarpelli now ahead of Karula. This is the point of the crash.
Oh! And they both crash. And through goes, is that Smith? Louis Smith. Wow, just benefiting from these two completely exploding.
Oh, no,
wow.
Smith's taken the pair of them. So it's going to be Scarpelli, who was involved in that accident, who still gets them.
Well, as long as he can survive a counter-assault from a Karulala, because
so
Karulala's going to be furious.
Wow. We all thought Louis Smith was going to get it. Now it's not changed out, so Scarpelli will still have it. So that little drama has actually not changed the pair of them. And
I thought Scarpelli was going in the air there.
I thought he was going to flip. I thought, I've never seen a flip in esports before. And
here we go. Scarpelli will get reverse grid. Karula will get 16th place. So that is really how close. That's how much it means. No wonder they were squabbling like a pack of dogs over some meat there on the final lap there, and everyone got torn to shreds. Really. Wow.
What a race. Harvick comes home. Oh, Harvick's out of the race, so they did retire. And so was McNaughton as well. So they've just returned to the pits.
Yeah, Caroline just thought, rather than doing, just saving a bit of time there, because he was quite a way down, I think. Anyway, confirmation of the order: 3 red cars in the top 3, so it's a pretty red podium, if I might say so myself. The sort Ferrari would only dream of. But anyway, confirmation: Alessandro Maggio takes his 4th race 1 victory in a row. Ahead of Terence Grech, I think, takes his best result in Academy of the season, just behind Bradley Sellers, who takes a pretty rare podium. It's good to see Bradley back on the podium, though, surviving the chaos. Zanini takes his best finish as well in 4th, ahead of Joshua Dexter, who also takes his best finish. Then Hadjic got the better of Jeffrey Ellis in the end to get finish in the top 6. Mike Bell recovered from spinning at the first corner to get back up to 8th. And the number 1 on that Teal Academy car. Very appropriate given where he finished last time out, but he'll have to win race 2 again, won't he, Josh? Joseph Frederick Suto, on his debut, takes 9th position ahead of Marek Petras, who rounds out the top 10. Then in 11th place is George Giagallis, ahead of Michele Urasio. Byron Lucadeli is 13th. Louis Smith, that last gasp elevation to 14th, after Scarpelli and Karula crashed into each other. So Scarpelli will take reverse grid pole with Louis Smith alongside him on the front row. Karala is going to be absolutely furious, and not just because I butchered his last name. But Dominic Pinder takes 17th. Giorgio Pavitsos takes 18th. Harvick DNFs, but was classified 19th. Mark McNaughton is 20th after his multiple visits to the pit lane. And now I think our 3 retirements are Cole McMillan, Jesse Latinen. What could have been is really the story there for Latinen, and Frederick Lejeune, who didn't get too far in the race at all, sadly, and will be hoping for better things in race 2.
So looking ahead as well as we get ready for the 14 lap race 2 coming up later. Just taking a look as well. Can we get some high for Cole McMillan? First ever sim race, and he finished, says Mike Bell. You can have it.
He did finish. Sorry, I think yeah, he did finish 21st and last, but he did finish. And he, to be fair, had a pretty clean race and stayed out of the chaos. So if your first race in sim racing, it's not an easy thing to learn, and especially if you've not been doing it very long. So that's something for Cole to be proud of.
Okay, we'll be back then after the break with coming up with warm-up and race 2, the reverse grid sprint. Sorry,
Hello and welcome back to Spielberg for round 6 of the 2023 GPVWC Academy Series. My name is Edward Hunter. Alongside me, as ever, is Joshua Burch. Of course, Joshua, we just saw a very action-packed race one, but at the front, Alessandro Maggio, serene throughout, made an amazing start, completely blitzed the field. I think it was pretty close to lapping about at least a quarter of the field. Although, to be fair, it was an absolutely chaotic turn one behind them that Mike Bell, Mark McNaughton, and several others got caught up in. And Mike Bell, of course, having a very eventful run from the very back to P8, which is better than he actually started when he spun at the first corner. So some big stories going on, lots of drama, lots of heartbreak at the end with that collision between between Kurala, who will start 16th, and was it Pavitsos, who will start on pole, I think.
And Scarpelli as well.
Scarpelli,
yeah.
Not Pavitsos, sorry. Pavitsos will start 3rd or 4th, I think. But wow, yeah, so race 2, it's sure to be absolutely action-packed, I think. We're going to see loads of drivers slipstream each other. And can Alessandro Maggio make it through from 15th to the podium? Because he's not done that yet this season.
Well, Mike Bell managed to, as you just said, Ed, make it back to a higher grid position than when he started, despite a turn 1 spin and everyone losing wings. So I think it's incredibly possible we could see Maggio get a race win.
His pace is such that if he can just maneuver definitely and stay out of trouble, which is the main thing, really, that you need to worry about, then I think it's entirely possible he could get on the podium or indeed take 2 wins in a row. I think Bobby Vakinov did it in a previous round somewhere, didn't he? I forget which one. It might have been. No, it wasn't him, because Maggio, he's come close, I think, Bobby Vakinov, to getting 2. There was one where he came 2nd in race 1 and then won race 2, I think, from 14th or something. As we see, it's saying safety car on there, but I think that's just the warm up.
Yeah, it's the safety car getting warmed up with the systems, isn't it? Because not everyone's on the track yet. So it is Scarpelli who has got pole, Ed. So he won.
There we go. So Scarpelli from flying over the back of poor Junes Kurulala, who's going to be absolutely raging and hoping to see him again soon in this race, I think, for a bit of revenge. It's gone from flying over the back of him to getting onto a reverse group pole. So it really shows, like I say, there's like rats fighting in a sack when you get to the lower end of the 15th place battle in every race, it seems. But here's the order then. Domenico Scarpelli starts on reverse group pole from Louis Smith, ahead of Byron Lucadelli and Michele Racio. Racio had a pretty difficult race one, so he'll be having to do better here. George Gallus starts 5th, ahead of Marek Petras. Joseph Frederick Suto starts 11th, just ahead of Mike Bell, the winner of race 2 last time out at Sepang. He starts 8th, so looking good for Mike Bell, ahead of Jeffrey Ellis in 9th. Then it's Jaroslav Hadjic, who's looking to renew his fight with Ellis, who's ahead of him once more. Yeah, that rounds out the top 10. But then it's Joshua Dexter in 11th, and Davide Zanini in 12th. Bradley Sellers will start 13th, with Terence Grech 14th. Alessandro Maggio, winner in race 1, has got it all to do from 15th, and it's Junis Kurulala, a very angry Junis Kurulala, in 16th, with Dominic Pinder in 17th. Then it's Giorgio Pavitsos in 18th, Caroline Harvick in 19th, Mark McNaughton 20th, Cole McMillan. He's done his first race, now he's got his 2nd ever race now, thanks to contend with in 21st. Jesse Lahtinen, very quick but retired from race 1. He starts 22nd, and it's Frederick Lejeune bringing up the rear.
Got a great grid coming up here at the Red Bull Ring. My personal pick will definitely be for Maggio to take it. He's got the pace as well, 10 seconds ahead in race 1. Fastest in practice, fastest in qualifying.
Well, we saw such chaos at the first corner there. Really, if you're sort of 8th or 9th downwards, then it's going to get very, very difficult for you. I think if Mike Bell can stay out of trouble, he stands a good chance. But I think look out for Horacio as well. His pace is pretty solid too. And we've seen Giagallis, a really good defensive driver as well. But the big opportunity here is for Scarpelli and Smith to get really strong finishes.
Watch out, turn 1 exit is going to be absolutely bombshell as well if we have that. It's the runoff curve that just catches everybody out as Lejeune, like he did in race 1, takes up the rear. So all eyes to the light shortly. They have the opportunity to go forward again.
Pizgazan's reaction to, and there's Lejeune just doing a bit of grass cutting before he gets into his spot, but he's much further forward in his spot this time, so not giving himself any disadvantage. But anyway, the light's on already, and we're about to get going for race 2 here in Austria. And Gigalis has jumped the start, and that's for the 5th place man. That's absolute heartbreak. But it is Scarpelli that scarpers away into turn 1 with Louis Smith just on the inside. Is Smith going to go for the lead? No, he's going to spin almost, and that's going to let Lucidelli take that 2nd position then. And look at this, 3 red cars in a line there. That must be a...
Well, it must be our pre-race winners from the first one as well. As Suto, Dexter in there, Hijack as well, Ellis as well coming up as well. And there's all trains coming up in towards turn 2 as Luca Deus tries to go right round the outside. Look at Mike Bell! Mike Bell is up into 2nd place and he's going for the lead down towards turn 4.
Fabulous move by Mike Bell there. And in the lead again. There we go. So I made a very, very fortuitous prediction. Can I get 2 in a row? Can Mike Bell get 2 race 2s in a row? He gets the braking done for turn 4. But look here, up the inside, it's Joseph Frederick Suto passing. That must be Hajek. No, it's Louis Smith, sorry, in the purple car. And Smith has dropped down to 9th already.
Yellow flag's out the back, so who's been dropping? Smith's dropped down to 2 places, Dexter to 10th. Just look at that side by side. On the grass there is Maggio as well. He's in the middle of the chaos up to 12th position, but having a little bit of pace problem with keeping grip on that car. But Mike Bell up 7 places, Hadjek's up 6, Ellis up 4, Zanini up 5 as Hadjek looking to the inside for 3rd place for Luca Deus, who runs wide, and he's taking it into turn 10 at Red Bull Mobile, and coming through is Ellis as well.
There we go. So Ellis determined not to let Hadjek get away there. And
cars off everywhere in the background. Sorry to cut across you. There's 7 cars in the background who have gone off the track. It starts with Harvig once again and then drops them down. Gio Gallis into the pit lane, but loads of cars in the back. Latinen and Lijon Smith as well. Carilla McMillan.
Oh, Hadjek and Ellis side by side. Sorry, Josh, to cut across you there as they go towards the hairpin. And Ellis has slipstreamed his way back through past Hadjek. Hadjek going to dive up the inside into turn 3. No. Jeffrey Ellis is on the podium now, but it's all kicking off. Look at Suto into the side of that Zanini he's fighting with there. And just behind is Petras, Sellers, Greg, Maggio, Dexter, Pinder, all squabbling away.
And then look at that, there's now got massive segregation. You can see where the field has crashed out at the back on the opening lap. They made contact coming into the braking zone. It's because they're all trying to battle for position.
Oh, is that McNaughton trying to go around the outside and coming off really badly there. Couldn't quite get past Pinder and Dexter in one go. So McNaughton a little bit over-ambitious there. And race 2 going the way of race 1. Zanini clears Suto.
Yeah, and there's more drama as well as Petras goes up the inside. But that's
Sellers, I think, coming through as well.
Yeah, Bradley Sellers just behind as well. He's having a battle with Maggio and Suto. They're all together again. And throwing in there as well with Greench. Dexter's trying to go through and further back. There's Pinder in 14th place, trying to look at the inside of Dexter. It's all changing as we come back to Maggio's in 11th place. Maggio to 10th. There's more cars going wide in the last corner.
Suto going off there, and that's like Bradley Sellers up to 9th then. So Mike Bell leading by 2.1 seconds over Scarpelli. Ellis is 3 tenths now behind Scarpelli and well in the slipstream, but Hadjek is still with him. And oh, wow, almost 4 wide there into turn 1 there. I don't know how they all got through, but here comes Ellis fighting for that 2nd position there. I think Jeffrey Ellis fancies a go at fighting with his old friend Mike Bell for that win.
Oh, and Hadjek's going to slip.
Oh, and Hadjek determined not to let him get away. Gives a little tap at the back of Ellis, and Scarpelli cannot get out of the way quick enough there.
He's just tapping the back saying, no, you're going to go now because I need to get through. Pinder's under attack as well as been
Lucas Deli in trouble. Horacio and Zanini have both gotten through him there.
This is unbelievable in this race. And now look at Deus trying to right around the outside of Zanini, but he's going to have to defend from the inside for Petras, who's coming through. And where's Maggio? He's stuck in 10th position.
Yeah, Maggio to me has been very conservative. Mike Bell just sort of went for it and somehow got through at turn 3 up the inside of everyone while all the chaos was happening.
Look at the top 3, are all up 7 places. Amazing.
Yeah, that really shows how much the heavens, I say the heavens opened. I mean the field opened up in front of them. Yes, yeah. Exactly. Yeah, Maggio sets a purple first sector though, so he's getting a great toe off the back of Bradley Sellers. But yeah, he has got a lot of work to do to get onto the podium. Scarpelli is doing very well. He's got a nearly 3-second gap to Horacio now, so he's been able to survive, which I think is mainly his aim. Whereas Louis Smith down to 20th already. And oh, here we go. Maggio has got no way through. It's like a wall in front of him. And Sellers desperately trying to take advantage.
Yeah, Luca Deus gets a little tap. Bradley Sellers goes.
Yeah, Luca Deli's just holding them all up.
Yeah,
And Sellers has got the inside here, and crucially, Petras getting the toe as well.
6 wide coming into the braking zone. It's like last year as well. Bradley Sellers on the inside. Now look at Maggio. He's on the outside line. There's going to be contact there if he's not careful. Maggio hits the back of Luca Deus as well. They all.
But Maggio had nowhere to go.
He
was completely snookered on the outside there, Josh. And that's Petras, who he just had a bit of a coming together with. And Petras still there. And a bit of grass being cut there. Oh, 3 wide into turn 4. That's not going to end well. And Greg nearly sends 2 cars around. They somehow all managed to keep going without spinning out. But Greg sort of barges him out of the way.
One of them was Maggio. Look, he's dropped down to 11th place now, and now he's under pressure as well from, well, it's Petras trying to go around the outside.
Yes, but Petras has got Suto attacking him.
Yeah, so Suto's dive bombed. Pinder's past McNaughton. Suto has passed Petras now. On board with Maggio once again on the back of Greach with Luca Deus just ahead of him. Luca Deus is now under pressure from Greach at turn 9 in the Jockering curve, and now they're all trying to battle together to slipstream.
Oh, these red cars, it's absolute chaos. And 3 wide into the last corner. Oh, and somehow they managed to not just spin off into the wall there.
Yeah,
but Maggio up to 9th.
Luca Deus was the worst one there as well. He was on the extreme outside and sort of got pincered in, so he's been kicked back through the field now as he's been passed, as you can see, by Suto. Petras coming through now, so Luca Deus' train of terror is done, but nearly shuts the front door of Luca Deus, and they're still making contact. 3 wide, coming up the hill in towards Remas, and nobody knows which way to go. Reverse grid, providing drama as always. Scarpelli's up to 4th. Yusoro is under
Scarpelli and Horacio are fighting. Horacio's just got through for that 4th position, Josh.
Unbelievable.
And Zanini now as well. Looks like Scarpelli's in trouble here.
Yep, here it is.
So this is the battle for 4th position then. So Michele Horacio ahead of Zanini. And Scarpelli desperately trying to get back up the inside of Bradley Sellers, but it's no good. He's down to 7th in quick succession, so Scarpelli must have made a mistake. Maggio up to 8th now, and look at this. It's still going on, that battle for 10th. And Pinder somehow goes around the outside of everyone while they all delay each other. And up the inside goes, that must be Petras.
Yeah, Petras on Luca Deus. Luca Deus gets shoved onto the grass. Petras stays through, takes the position. Wide goes Luca Deus. Through goes McNaughton coming through at the Burch curve.
Where's McNaughton come from?
He was at the back of this train about 2 corners ago, and now he's right in the front, battling with Petras for it.
Ellis sets the fastest lap of the race. 1.3 seconds, the lead that Mike Bell now has over him. I think Jeffrey Ellis could still win this thing, but Mike Bell is going to be defending like crazy before too long, Josh. But anyway, meanwhile, there's this engrossing battle behind to keep us occupied.
And look, that's Latimer looking on the inside as well, trying to make a few little positions as he just rides the curb. It's going to be.
Yeah, this is Latimer who started right near the back.
And Dexter
now
goes
fighting
through
for that 15th position with Joshua Dexter, of course.
Yeah, because he was on the back of Luca Deus, got over the curb at the first corner, got passed by Dexter. We just saw it now. Dexter will have to defend from Latimer once again into the braking zone, 2nd gear. And he took so much more accelerator, and he saw the back of the car sliding. He was struggling for control there as we come down. Look at that, though. Top 6. Only one of them is in the same position. All those around up 7 places.
Yeah, and to put into perspective as well, as we see Zanini about to attack Horacio for 4th position, Scarpelli his previous lap was almost 2 seconds a lap slower, and a mistake there from Horacio, and Zanini back into 4th position, just like he was in race 1. Zanini, you know, he isn't too far behind, only about 5 seconds behind the lead. They've all closed up within each other. It's only a second between Mike Bell, Ellis, and Hadrick each. But here's Maggio. And Scarpelli's got no resistance here whatsoever. That was a confident move. They almost forced him out the way there. And Scarpelli just couldn't scarp her out of the way quickly enough.
Yeah, resistance is futile as they go through. Now we're seeing McNaughton on the back of Petras up towards turn number 1. Is he going to fancy a little bit of a move? A little bit of a ding-dong into Niki Lauda curve? No, he's not. Look at Deus. I think he's having a battle as well for the back. Well, Dexter is going for a move. We'll see if that change on the picture.
Now Horacio is about to be attacked again, and Sellers is going to try around the outside here. Horacio's got to be so careful. He's forcing him right to the outside here. Oh.
And there's contact with Bradley Sellers, but Luca Deus is out of the race. He's spun.
Oh, he overtook him off track there, surely, did Brandon Sellers. And surely he's lifting off a little bit just to let Michele Horacio back through. But Luca Deus, after being in so much contact there in that fight for 10th position, is now out of the race, but
Race
Ellis
lead.
now fighting for the lead with Mike Bell.
Well, you said this was coming as well. We're halfway in, and Mike Bell's incredible start is now having to do what he did in Malaysia, defend in the second half of the race. And now Ellis on the back. Petras passes Suto, but that's a big shock as well for Luca Dares to be out of the race. And I think we're only left now with 19 as everyone's coming in.
Yeah, Hajek sets a purple sector 2 as well. He's right with these two behind them. So, but Jeffrey Ellis, let's not forget, he was leading race 2 for so much of it in Melbourne and Australia, and then he cut the corner, got a penalty and spun as well. It all completely fell apart on him, and now he's got a golden opportunity as Hajek sets the fastest lap of the race behind both of them, so they're creating a big hole in the air. As Ellis really has to have another go at turning into turn 1 there, and Mike Bell, he's going to continue to drag both of them along the straight here. Look at the gap behind to Zanini though, 7 seconds.
Yeah, Hajek's now within right in as well. They're both, all the top 3 now separated by less than a second. So this is going to be
This is so crucial for Mike Bell to just keep Jeffrey Ellis at bay, because if Hajek gets involved, we saw what happened in race 1 between him and Ellis. So Jeffrey is sort of in a pass or be punted off the road situation. And Mike Bell, is he going to defend the inside into turn 4? Yes, he does. And that means there's nothing that Ellis can do. But here comes Bradley Sellers. Another go at passing Michele Irasio. But and that's Maggio up the inside of both of them. Double move from Alessandro Maggio. And look, Sellers coming through as well.
He's going to go wide though, just about held it. Sellers has now taken Usuro as well, but Maggio up into 5th with half the race still to go. It's not
and Irasio did well not to understeer into Sellers there, into turns 5 and 6, but wow, just great opportunism from Alessandro Maggio. As Hajek has well and truly joined this battle then. So Bell, Ellis, Hajek, all within 3 tenths, I think.
Ellis taking no prisoners coming through turn 10. Hajek's going to be right on the back. He was purple with rage in race 1. Can he now be what? What's the sign of happiness?
Purple sectors, right? It's
purple sectors. Yeah, happy.
He's been setting them. And that's a lot of ride over the curb there for Jeffrey Ellis, and that shows you just how much he's pushing. 5 laps left to go. Mike Bell defending with everything he's got at every corner. But the slower these guys go, and look, here comes Hajek to the outside, Josh.
That's very risky. He's going to get launched onto the sausage curb. He's happened now. But downhill, he'll get the slipstream not only off Ellis, but off Bell as well. He's got an opportunity here to dive through the pair of them if he times it right. Dive in 3, 2, 1. Go for it. Lay on the brakes. Perfect opportunity. Little bit of wheel contact, but he's got the track position. Keep on the accelerator. Don't give up your line. You're entitled to the space on the outside. Ellis is going to have to
he's going to push him.
Keep your line.
This is... They're doing well not to hit each other, but he's going to force him wide here, and Ellis would always have the inside there, and I think that was a little bit ambitious from Hajek, but Mike Bell breathes a sigh of relief because he's now got 6 or 7 attempts on the both of them, and that could well have decided the battle for the win here. If Mike Bell can just get enough of a cushion, he might be able to survive, because now Ellis is thinking about Hajek right behind him rather than Mike Bell in front of him.
I'd say I'd do exactly the same as what Hajek just did. You've got to hold your line in every opportunity, because the inside of turn 8 at the Burch curve, he would have had the position going into the last 2 corners. 5 to go, 3-way battle for the lead, and Hajek's having another look as Bell's actually backed off a little bit. That's allowed Ellis to close back in, but there is still a big enough gap.
There was someone coming out the pits, that's why.
That's why
I think that's Pavitsos.
Yes, it is. Right at the back of the field. Yep. As now uphill, look at Ellis in the slipstream, going for the lead of the race. Mike Bell defends, but Ellis is on the inside line. But a brilliant defence again from Bell. Is going to compromise his exit though, Ed, as Ellis is now in the slipstream.
That's a great illustration of why nobody breaks later than Mike Bell does. But here we go. Like you say, it's round 2 here, and Ellis is well and truly broken away from Hajek. And now Mike Bell has really got a problem on his hands.
Yeah, he's now going to have to contend with tyre wear and
he's got to just back him back into Hajek again, hasn't he?
Yeah,
that's the only option here for Mike Bell. And here, is this Irasio being... Gretsch up the inside then into turn 4 and showing us how it's done. But Ellis! That's not really where you go for a move there at turn 6 and 7. And here comes Hajek again. He's like a bad penny. You can't get rid of him.
No matter how many times you try and spend him on the arcade machine, it won't get taken. And he's desperately trying to get that P2, maybe even a P1. Bell goes wide. Ellis was sliding through 9. They both cut the corner at 10, but the better exit comes from Hadjack, and you can see that as he's tailgating Ellis uphill towards turn 1 at Nicky Ladder curve.
Yeah, but Hadjack, he sort of knows that he can just wait for the opportunity, hope these two squabble, and try and look for an opening to pass one or maybe both of them as Maggio up to 4th past Zanini and sets the fastest lap of the race. We've not been watching Maggio. He still thinks he can win this. 4 laps to go. Maggio's only about 5 seconds down.
Okay,
and
Ellis,
it's just at 1:26.9.
Bell's had to go defensive. Ellis is going to send it up the inside and try and take the lead, but Bell's got better traction. Hadjack was sliding round. Ellis still in 2nd place, and that was his best opportunity to pass.
Yeah, the problem is he was up the inside, and he was sort of worried about running into Mike Bell, and it compromised his exit, didn't it? And oh, look at Hadjack sliding under brakes, and he bumps into the back. And he's lucky he didn't give a puncher to Jeffrey Ellis there, but that's going to compromise him. And potentially, if Hadjack can't get past these two, then Maggio's going to get past him.
Yeah, Sellers.
4.4 seconds. Maggio is flying out there.
I was about to say, look, Maggio is closing in. He could still be in contention here as we see Bradley Sellers.
This could be a 4-way fight on the final lap, Josh.
And
Hadjack right behind Ellis. And we're going to see Maggio pop into frame. There he is. There he is.
Go on. Oh,
and Hadjack has a think up the inside in the penultimate corner.
They touched twice, Ed. They touched twice. And
and a mistake from Bell. He completely coppers the final curb at the final corner.
Oh, this is going to be brilliant news for Ellis. I'll have to slipstream out to turn 1
Mike
as
Bell
well.
just keeps throwing away this race. Here comes Hadjack around the outside.
Oh, they think you can't.
Oh, he's hit him. He spins Jeffrey Ellis round and also gives him another tap for good measure. Is Maggio going to avoid him? Yes, he does. But that's Maggio on the podium there, and Jeffrey Ellis, absolutely disconsolate, punted out of 2nd place through no fault of his own, and the victory is gone for Jeffrey Ellis.
The fight from race 1 continues into race 2, and you just can't believe it's the same two coming together again. And
well, I'll tell you what, Jarrett of Hadjack is off of Jeffrey Ellis's Christmas card list. I can tell you that for sure.
Yeah, I wouldn't be opening any post from him the next few days if I were you as well. It might smell a little bit, as we see.
2.5 seconds, the gap between Hadjack and Maggio. I think Hadjack is going to be vulnerable here. I think Mike Bell might just hold on to this one.
Yeah, I think so too. As Lattinen trying to go right round the outside of Suto for 12th place into turn 4. Suto will have the racing line.
Gonna have to brake late.
Oh, do it. Yeah, he's going to have it. Lattinen's going to get forced wide there. Yep.
Oh! That was a little...
Yes, it is, yeah.
Should have had it anyway. I don't think he needed to really do that. But maybe, because he maybe just understeered wide out there. But anyway.
I think, look at that though. Hadjack is within a second and it's closing down on Bell again. So
another purple sector 2 for Maggio.
It's 2.1 with 2 to go. It's an awful big time. I think Maggio's going to have to settle for the podium here.
Oh, but look, he's got them in his sights there. That must be so frustrating to finally catch them and just see the time ebb away before your eyes. But
unless they hit each other.
Yeah, Greg does well not to hit the back of Jeffrey Ellis, who's had that happen to him once already today. Twice, actually, if you can't race one. But anyway, McNaughton up to 11th, by the way, in his fight against Lattinen. So those two having a great little scrap just outside the top 10. But Greg is going to go up the inside of Ellis, and that's really adding insult to injury there. But can Ellis get a switchback at the exit? No, he's going to be forced out again.
Look at the leaders. Bell is under pressure from Hadjack. Sorry to cut across, but the gap was 1/10. Now it's back to 3, so they're swapping places. Back to you, Ed, as Screech goes on the inside.
Here we go. Maggio within 2 seconds, and Ellis getting it really crossed up into turn 4. And there's our 2 leaders then. Hadjack has not given up at all on trying to wrest away victory from Mike Bell. But when he gets so close in the wake of Mike Bell in the rear wing, it's getting into the dirty air, and he just lost the rear there at turn 6 there. So he's really taking risks here. But the more risks he takes, the closer Maggio is sort of just slowly reeling them in. But is it quick enough, Josh? I don't know.
1.2 in the line. It's taken a second.
And Mike Bell makes a mistake. He does it again, and through goes Hadjack as they start the final lap.
And look at that! Maggio's within a second! It's not over! Final lap drama! Hadjack leads, Bell to second, and here comes Maggio to attack! He's gonna have the pair of them! You can sense it coming! As now they're gonna make contact here for sure towards turn
Mike
2!
Bell hasn't given up though. Is he gonna try round the outside of Hadjack? That's brave.
Well, Hadjack
and they touch!
And they are gonna run wide! Just a little bit together! Hadjack leads! And here comes Maggio! He's in him! Come on!
He's going to run out of corners here. It's really about Mike Bell and Hadjack then. Are they going to... Either they run into each other or one of them wins. And Mike Bell's going to try around the outside into turn 4. Is he going to squeeze Hadjack at the apex here? Oh!
Yeah,
fabulous stuff.
Fabulous, but look at this. Hadjack's going to have the attempt round the outside into the Burch curve. You don't want to do that again. And here comes Maggio. This is so tight between them. And look, Hadjack's looking everywhere. Maggio's going to have
a marker ahead of them. I think they might just cross the line before they catch him. But Mike Bell wrestling back a victory from the jaws of defeat. But can Hadjack have a last gasp attack? Can Maggio take the pair of them? Here we go, Josh. 2 corners to go. And Maggio nearly loses it.
He's now to dive bomb on the inside line. Mike Bell's got it. Drag race to the line. Who's going to be 1, 2, 3? Mike Bell's done it with Hadjack Taminio. 0.2 of a second between all of them. Fabulous.
And Ellis fighting Horacio for 7th as well while we've been watching this. But what a fabulous defensive try. There we go. Ellis just holds on to 7th. To avoid any further heartbreak, but he will be absolutely heartbroken losing out on that podium. As we see Latin and Dexter and Suto across the line in that order. But wow, another race 2 victory for Mike Bell. But he so nearly threw it away. That's my takeaway there. Hadjack was absolutely superb, apart from hitting the back of Jeffrey Ellis. And Maggio, you've got to say, was the true driver of the race there, because he just methodically climbed his way through the field as everyone's getting a bit carried away there at the end of race 2.
He did a Heidfeld there.
And there's Mike Bell doing a donut there. In celebration, and I think is that Maggio doing it as well?
Yeah. Well, can I just point out, Mike Bell, after Malaysia, that was his first win in a long time. He's had 2 back-to-back. Fantastic. Here's the results, Senez.
Yeah, so Mike Bell takes another race 2 victory. He did it in Sepang. He's done it in Spielberg too. Maybe Steven Spielberg will make a movie about Mike Bell's career someday. The 10-year itch or whatever. And that's not a Spielberg movie, but whatever. Anyway, Hadjack takes his best result as well in 2nd place, only just holding off Alessandro Maggio in an absolutely absorbing battle, 4-way battle for victory, it must be said. And commiserations to Jeffrey Ellis, who put on a superb show for us as well, but has to settle for 7th position behind Zanini, Sellers, Greg. Zanini did well to hold on to another 4th position there as well from Bradley Sellers, so shout out to him as well. Horacio just missed out on 7th place. He finishes 8th ahead of Dominic Pinder and Marek Petras, who round out the top 10. Then, in 11th, it's Mark McNaughton. A decent recovery drive, battling with Latinen, who started at the very back and finished 12th. So a great fight between those two, as looks like Mike Bell has exhausted the tyres on that Academy car. Joshua Dexter finished 13th ahead of Jose Frederic Suto. Domenico Scarpelli, our pole sitter, ended up 15th, so he did get another point there. So Scarpelli, 15th in both races, I believe. So he'll be slightly less controversially this time at the end for Scarpelli. All the drama was up front this time. Harvick takes 16th position with Louis Smith behind him. Jonas Karula, 18th. So he didn't quite get his revenge on Scarpelli like you would have hoped. Cole McMillan, in his 2nd ever race, improves to 19th. So shout out to McMillan. That's already gaining a few places then. Pavitsos finishes 20th. And then it is Lejon, I think 21st. Lucadelli is our final finish. Oh, no, he didn't finish, did he? He 22nd and our first of our DNFs. And Gia Gallus also DNFing as well. So bad luck for both George and Byron.
Mike Bell in the Discord, a GIF. Somebody's got to win. Might as well be me.
Anyway, so shall we move over to our interviews? Because there's somebody who wants to talk to us, and I believe it's the winner of race 1 and 3rd place finisher in race 2, and that is Alessandro Maggio. Let's hear what he has to say. So we're joined now in the commentary box by race 1 winner and, for the first time, race 2 podium finisher, Alessandro Maggio. So, Alessandro, I think that was about as dream of an Academy day as you could have hoped for there. A absolutely flawless race 1. And race 2, you were right in the hunt until on that final lap, and only just denied by Mike Bell and Jaroslav Hadzik. So absolutely fantastic performance, Alessandro. Congratulations.
Thank you. So, yeah, race 1 went pretty smoothly, actually. I was surprised by how much of a gap I could pull. And yeah, race 2 finally was about as perfect as it could get. No major issues, no, crashes with anyone. And I even managed to catch up to the leader. So that's good for me, I guess. I'm happy.
Yeah, I know. I felt you were being very, very cautious in the start of race 2, just to not, because everyone was going 3 and 4 wide, and you were like, right, I'll just pick them off one by one, and that proved to be the right approach in the end, didn't it?
Yep, definitely this time. I mean, you can see from the previous races, I was, kind of too, I don't know how to say, but like, I was too impatient, if you know what I mean, yeah. And this time, I took a different approach and surprisingly paid off, so yeah.
Well, it helps that Yusuf wasn't here today as well, so he didn't barge into the side of you without wanting to be too harsh on him, because he has gotten me a very nice gig doing real-life go-karting commentary. So, because Yusuf's taking part, so he can't commentate, so he asked me to do it. But anyway, I didn't really have any more questions. Do you have anything to ask Alessandro, Josh?
One thing as well, to add on to victory in race 1, you also topped all the practice session. You topped qualifying, led every lap of the race, 10 seconds ahead. Just tell us, when did you become one with the Red Bull ring?
I think tonight, because I didn't put, yeah, I guess, because I didn't put that much practice laps in. So I guess I don't know. It just happened. So okay, I'm good with that, I guess.
Well, Alessandro, after your victory in race 2 in FS2 the other day, and and you winning and finishing 3rd in 2 very difficult academy races, we saw so much drama, usually behind you, admittedly, but in race 2, a little bit of it was ahead of you.
Yeah, I saw that Jeffrey was spun around in turn 1. What happened?
Yeah, there was, unfortunately, Jaroslav and Jeffrey had a bit of a coming together, not just in race 1, but in race 2 as well. And I think there might be a little bit of an evil between the pair of them.
Okay.
So, it was pretty dramatic. So
that's unfortunate for him.
I don't imagine Jeffrey's going to hang around for the interview, because he's probably absolutely furious, to use an Anglo-Saxon expression.
Probably.
Anyway, thank you very much for coming to talk to us, Alessandro. It seems every time I talk to you, it's because you're on the podium. So let's hope many more interviews to come, because I seem to be the good luck charm at the moment.
Apparently. Oh well. See you guys. Good evening.
Thank you very much, Alessandro. And congratulations. Right, let's talk to race 2 winner, shall we? Mike Bell.
Where is he? Hello, Mike.
Here he is.
Hello.
Hello. So we now talk to 8th place finisher in race 1, although that's despite being spun around at the first corner and being involved in all sorts of chaos, and including some very, very super dive bombs into turn 4. And then race 2, an amazing first lap got you into the lead, and then you did, it felt a little bit, and without wishing to be too harsh, like you did everything you could to throw away that lead, and you only just about managed to claw it back at the end. It was very exciting for us, but I imagine absolutely nerve-wracking for you, Mike.
Yeah, funny you should say that about the doing everything possible to throw the win away, because that's basically what everyone was in the academy lounge was. I was streaming my race.
Well, I was saying it first, and they were just repeating what I was saying.
Yeah, honestly, it did actually feel like it. I was bottling that one really hard. I know Jeff was behind me, and obviously I've raced with Jeff a fair bunch. I knew that was going to be a good fight. And then obviously Hadzik was tagged in behind as well. And initially I thought, oh, I've had such a good lap 1, I've got this. And then I hit the front, and I sort of realized that I didn't have any pace. So it's like I hit the front, and then I think you can go back and look if you want, but like every single lap I did was within about 0.6, whether I was hard defending or not. So it was just like, oh, this feels weird. And then obviously I completely just threw it off on the last lap. And I'd love to say that it was, you know, a real big brain move to like not give away the slipstream and in fact have it myself onto the last lap for the advantage. But genuinely, I just messed everything up and ran wide, and I thought, oh no, this is all gone wrong.
And especially with Alessandro Maggio, winner of race 1, winner of multiple race 1s, right behind you on that final lap as well. It so easily could have gone the other way, couldn't it, Mike?
To tell you the truth, I actually didn't. I wasn't worried about Maggio at any point in that, because I'm like, okay, not only has he got to get to my fight, he's got to get through my fight to get to me. And obviously with Hadjic still there, he's going to be the in effect, my first line of defense, because the natural reaction, if you're second place and third place attacks you, you're going to defend your second place, aren't you? You're not going to wave the guy through in the hope that you can then follow him through. So if he caught Hadjic while Hadjic was behind me, I knew that, in theory, they're going to drop back and I can keep it. So I wasn't too concerned. And then I fell off the track. So I'm... I got into
apart
that.
from that, a tactical masterclass.
I mean, even it was a tactical falling off the track, you see.
Well, we can pass it off now because it worked out in the end.
Yeah. No, and then I thought, well, I'm confident on the brakes. I know a lot of these corners, you can make moves on the inside or on the outside. I knew I had a quick car, so I just thought, I'm going to back myself. I'm going to go for it in turn 2. You know, I knew outside line works there because you're going up less of a ramp, so you can hold momentum. Didn't quite play out in turn 2, but then when Hadjic goes defensive, I thought, well, I'll try and hold him as far inside as I can, swing out super late for the line. And yeah, I just broke late, got up alongside him, managed to hold it around the outside. And, you know, thankfully, Hadjic's got more care where his front wing goes than Lewis Hamilton, and I managed to survive it.
Yeah, luckily he treated you with a little bit more care than he did Jeffrey Ellis, thankfully.
I don't know what happened with that. I know Jeff wasn't best pleased, but yeah, I see so many things. Around him.
Like I said, they came together in race 1 as well, so I think it might be. I feel like Jaroslav felt Jeffrey had knocked him out of the way at turn 1 in race 1, and he sort of wanted to return the favour. I'm not sure if I want to drag Jeffrey in because he's probably, like I said, absolutely furious.
I'd do it. He'll be up for it. But
all right, maybe.
Yeah, no, for race 1, I mean, I thought I had a good start, and it was actually Jeff down my inside. I was just in the middle of a 3 wide, and I'm thinking, okay, this will be interesting. And all of a sudden, then my way was just blocked, and I was like, oh no, this is not good. And
I got a car park.
Yeah, I got pinched from both sides. I don't know who it was on my left, but they pinched into me and got hooked. Started to get drug around, and then they hit the guy that was already sideways. So it basically snapped me around as well. And I think, oh, well, you know, I got out of it last, but with like a car that was feasible, I guess. Like a lot of people didn't, you know, make it out there. Like a lot of people had to pit for new wings and stuff. So
yeah, I think you got closer to passing the MOT test than the rest of them did. There was like 3 or 4 in the pits on the end of the first lap. Yeah,
I managed to get away with it. And obviously, you know,
you also got away with that crazy dive bomb at turn 4, isn't it? Where you got past 2 cars in one go by braking very, very late and sort of using one of them to brake for you.
I remember that move. I don't actually think I broke that late. But the leader of those 2 cars, I think he thought he was far enough in front and he turned in. And obviously I'm coming at such a rate of knots that he's clipped me as I'm going through. And that's the only reason I actually missed the apex was because I got drug wide. But no, that I think the key with turn 4 is just bravery, because those things can stop a lot quicker than you can imagine it to. And obviously the corner opens up, so you can overspeed into it so hard and still get away with it. And I was trying to use a bit of racing IQ because I did not have any speed to fall back on.
Well, Mike, you wait 10 years for a win. And I'm out of the wine tasting, so I didn't get commentated. But Joshua is there. But you wait 10 years for a win, and then 2 come at once in race 2s. You're the new Bobby Vakinov.
It was only 4, admittedly. But
oh, okay. Well, Josh made it stand like a much longer, more arduous wait.
Well, I'd won 1 in 2019 in the ITC. First round of 2019 ITC, I won in Division 1 in the 3rd race. And that was very similar in that I took the lead had about a 5-second gap, and then won by 0.4 of a second. So I seem to have this thing where I can't win by a big amount. It always has to be really small.
Yeah,
and then
well,
before then,
it's never boring though, is it?
Lazy
When
was
it
the
comes to you,
same.
Mike.
I'd love to say that it's just I'm trying to make entertainment value, but I think genuinely just the way I drive, I'm not that quick, but I also won't back off from anyone in a fight. So I think that does in itself create some interesting situations. And I mean, I enjoy doing it, and a lot of the people who fight me fairly, they enjoy fighting me as well. So it's yeah, I like to think I can be a bit like a hedgehog, you know. If someone decides to be a bit spiky to me, I'll be a bit spiky back. But yeah, no, it's going good. Happy with how the season's going so far. And
Well, I look forward to your appearance in the next Sonic game, Mike.
Yeah, the really slow in the way hedgehog.
The immovable but Mike Bell hedgehog. Anyway,
happened
thank you.
now,
Congratulations again, Mike.
Thanks.
All right, Josh, shall we drag Jeffrey Ellis and see if he's willing to talk to us in? Because he's not in the waiting room; he's in the lobby though. So let's see what he says.
That was Mike disappearing. I think he might. Is he racing? Might be racing.
Oh,
Yeah, it's not dragging me. I think he's doing something as well. Else.
fair enough.
there in
Yeah,
the box.
right. We may as well end the broadcast if no one else wants to talk to us. We got the two winners. Would love to hear what Jurislav Hadrick had to say about that race as well, because
Oh, Ellis is now in
oh
the
yeah.
interview.
Oh, okay, right.
If you wanted to speak to him. So we get a quick word out of Jeffrey. Hello, can you hear us?
Hello. Yeah.
Hey, Jeffrey. Well, two very interesting races, let's put it that way. And sadly, race 2 that was looking so promising for you ended in a bit of consternation with Jurislav Hadrick. Of course, you already had a run-in with in race 1 as well. Do you want to talk us through it? I know you did well also just to hold on to that 7th place in the end, because you nearly got overtaken as well by Horacio, I think.
Yeah, first race, I just made a small mistake, completely missed braking point in turn 1. So I braked out the last corner to let him go back past me, so he finished ahead of me, because I didn't really feel I should finish ahead of him after that kind of mistake. And then he made a similar mistake. I think he just misjudged how slow Mike was going to be on the apex, because Mike really...
it's a good thing you said that after Mike left, because I mean, he admitted he was struggling for pace, but you know, it's not nice to hear that from a driver.
Yeah, I think we were 5 or 10 Ks down on apex speed, so I had to back off a bit more than that, and then just concertinaed, and he tagged the back of me. I don't think it's anything, you know, anything malicious.
It wasn't malicious, yeah. Yeah. I have to say, Jeffrey, I think of all the drivers in GPVWC Academy, I think you're probably one of the least luckiest. That you've had a couple of 4th, 5th places, I think, but never quite on the podium.
Yeah, this one I kind of brought on myself, because I easily had Mike 3 or 4 laps, but I fucked turn 1 very badly.
Oh, apologies for language.
Yeah, apologies. Sorry. I clouted the inside curb and then found the outside curb, and then still had a run on him. So if I'd not hit those curbs, I'd have had him well before turn 3. So I kind of brought it on myself by not making the move earlier. So it is what it is.
Nah, but we learn from those experiences, don't we? And you certainly put on a fantastic show for us. That's for sure.
Mike is clapping in there with the Jeffrey Ellis clap, clap, clap. So you are having that in the YouTube chat right now.
Yeah, I'm trying to look for where the next race is, because I completely forgot.
Right. It's 1st of May, and we will be at the Dubai Autodrome as well.
Ooh,
So
you looking forward to that, Jeffrey? Have you ever raced at Dubai before?
I've never seen the circuit.
Oh, wow. Step into the unknown then.
We'll do the normal amount of practice. We'll turn up and then we'll race.
That's it. Mike said very similarly. I think Alessandra actually said quite similarly as well. They said, Josh said something like, when did you become one with the Red Bull ring? And he said, about 30 minutes ago or something.
Yeah.
Wow. So, well, fingers crossed we can see you get that first podium, Jeffrey, because you came so close, and it's certainly not through lack of trying, because you put in an amazing fight today in both races, in fact, and I'm sorry you didn't get the result you deserved, but I'm sure along the line it'll just take a little bit of patience and a little bit of just keep trying, I guess. Perseverance, that's the word I'm looking for.
We'll get there.
Yeah. Anyway,
Thank
thanks for
you.
coming to talk to us, Jeffrey, because I know you're not obviously it's not the nicest race ever, but I'm sure you have a great evening,
absolutely.
and we'll see you next time for more.
Yeah. See you next time.
Yeah, and hopefully we'll see you, as in the viewing audience, next time as well, in 2 weeks' time at Dubai. So any closing thoughts, Josh, before we swept away from Spielberg?
I think we need to start making the Academy Series a championship event because the points standings would be absolutely fantastic. Look into it as well with the amount of wins that we're having. But this is
But of
great.
course, we wouldn't have people constantly like Bobby Vakinov, like Alessandro Maggio being promoted into the bigger leagues of FS2 and beyond, of course, in Formula Sprint and GPVWC, and even in Super League potentially in the future, if Academy was one that everyone was focused on winning. So it's nice sort of having people who do part of a season drop in and out of the championship. I kind of think there's an appeal to it. But yeah, purely from us commentating perspective, yeah, it'd be nice to see points stand again.
So much fun. It's so much fun, and I'm enjoying every
In
second.
fact, I kept saying 15th place gave a point at one point, and it doesn't because there are no points. So this literally just reverse group poll. That's the only benefit from finishing in 15th in race one.
But going into Dubai Autodrome, it's another narrow track, so it's going to be very interesting to see how we race there. I've never actually commented on that track. I've watched races on it at Dubai, and I've driven it, but I've never actually commentated on it. So that'll be a first for me to add to the list. And I think we're going to be in for a very entertaining race in 2 weeks' time at Dubai.
Pair of races.
Pair of races, yeah. Pair of races.
It's not just the one. Unless you want to just leave after the first one, you're very welcome.
Yeah, I'll disappear after, and yeah, all that long.
But anyway.
Day after a birthday party as well, not my own as well.
Ah, cool. Well, have fun then. Whoever's
Mine's on
birthday
Friday,
that
anyway.
is.
My
Oh,
birthday-
yours is on Friday. Oh, I
Mine's
didn't get you anything,
mine's-
Josh.
Oh, it's all right. No, it's my friend. Mine's on Friday. Megan's is on the 30th of April, and then the 1st of May is the day after her 18th birthday party. Megan's the elder sister, by the way. Younger sister, I should say.
Okay, this is great, but I don't think the viewers need to know everything, if that's okay, Josh.
No, I'm just saying. It's going to be a fun night for that one as well, for the Dubai race, and I'm looking forward to it in 2 weeks' time. And
Yeah, but
hopefully,
it's certainly going to be...
we'll be working together.
Yeah, it's certainly going to be a party and a half, but my next commentary will be in the real world in Milton Keynes at Daytona Karting. Josh's next commentary will be also real
But in the box.
racing.
Yeah.
But we'll
It'll
also be back in 2 weeks' time for Dubai on the 1st of May and our journey to the Middle East. But at the Red Bull Ring, it was, even though it's a completely different track to Sepang, it's the same winners, Alessandro Maggio and Mike Bell, by the skin of his teeth. Mike Bell was able to win race 2 once more in a thrilling duel. So I've been Edward Hunter. He's been Joshua Burch. You've been a wonderful audience. And thanks, of course, to Heigo Poom, our wonderful broadcast director, for guiding us through the entire race. We'll see you in a few weeks' time. Bye for now.